So less than a year ago, actually just over 300 days ago, I received a L7, which is a Dogecoin / Litecoin ASIC miner from Coin Mining Central, and I've just been doing some numbers basically for fun here on this miner and kind of these past 300 or so days of mining with this thing, and no matter kind of how I look at it, this thing has ROI'd from what I can tell, or that's what the numbers are telling me, right? So in this video, I'm gonna present quite a few different ways that you can do ROI calculations, break-even calculations on kind of seeing have this miner paid for itself yet or not. Although the amount of different ways you can do calculations like that, they're basically, endless, and I'm sure some of you are gonna have different ways of doing it to me. I've tried to kind of cover all bases with this and do different ways, but I'm sure some of you will still have other ways of doing it. But I'm rambling, so let's just get into my spreadsheet that I've put together here, where I'm gonna talk just about how this thing has kind of, I guess, paid itself off already after less than a year, which also, that's, less than a year during a bear market. Like, this was all mining before the Bitcoin halving that we just had. So to me, that is quite remarkable, but let's just go through it all. As you can see here, first of all, let's just look at how much coin has this thing mined. And for Dogecoin, that would be for just over 48,000 Dogecoin. And if we then look at Litecoin, that is going to be just over 15.5 Litecoin, 15.62 Litecoin. So let's start with just looking at, okay, what are those coins worth as of today? What if I mined all of that and just held it all and sold it all today? So for the Dogecoin, that would be worth $7,250.39. And for the Litecoin, that would be worth $1,329.72 for a combined $8,580.11. Let me just fix this so that it's actually dollars. Hang on. There we go. That's better. Now, of course, mining and holding isn't the only strategy. So what if instead we were to sell every single day of mining with this thing? And of course, I've done the numbers on that as well. And this is taking into account how much did I specifically mine on every single day. So this is I'm not doing averages here. This is looking at exact data for every single day of mining and what the coin price was on that day of mining it. And that would be, for the Dogecoin, I would have made, of course, less, $4,166.72, and for the Litecoin, an additional $1,237.97, which is a combined $5,404.69. Now, this is of course just the mining revenue. When we calculate profitability and ROI break-even times with stuff like this, we of course also have to take into account our costs. So let's do that next. How much did the power cost me? Let me fix the borders here real quick. There we go. So how much have I paid in power for this thing? At my power rate, which is 14 cents per kilowatt hour, so I don't have crazy low power rates here. Like, that's a pretty standard at-home power rate. I have paid $3,537.41 to mine with this thing for these past 300 or so days, a little bit more than 300 days. And the miner, when I got it, costs for $3,800. So put those two together, and the total, cost for this miner would have been $7,337.41. So that is cost of the miner plus the cost of the power to run it. Now, there is one more aspect here that I want to take into account too, and that is that the actual ASIC miner itself is an asset. It has value, right? And I want to look at, because I bought this thing, it's worth money. What could I resell this thing for? And if we look at, what does this thing cost now? You can see it's actually cost more now than when I got it, about $3,000 more. It's $6,800 right now, and when I got it, it was about $3,800. So really, if I would have just held the miner, and for those of you who think I can resell it at what the street price for this thing is, which is $6,800 currently, I would have made money already then. However, I also know there's the whole other side of the coin there, where a lot of you might say there's no way you can resell it for that much right now. It will go for way less. And to sort of appease you guys, let's just say, because I don't think any of you would argue with that I could at least, if I put this on eBay, I could get at least $2,500 for this miner right now if I wanted to. So let's just say the resale price for this miner right now, $2,500. Probably I could get way more than that, but let's just say $2,500. So where does that put us in terms of ROIing on this machine? What is my final profit, if you will, if I were to, both if I would have held all of these coins and sold them today, then of course minus out what I've spent, but then again also add, what we are saying I could sell this for, which, let's say $2,500. Well, the final, profit then, if I would have done all of that, would be, I would have $3,742.70 more cents than I had before I started all this thing. So I would have walked away with, a pretty significant profit of $3,700. Now, what about selling every day, right? Let's have a look at that too. And even then, I would still walk away with a profit. So not only would I break even, I would have more money in my pocket now than I had before starting this whole thing. So $567.28 more now than when I started this whole thing. So next, I know a lot of you are saying, well, what if you were to buy the coin instead of mine? Take all the money of like the cost of the miner plus the cost of the power and just put that into buying the coin instead. Would you have ended up with, more coins than just from mining and all of that? And we're gonna have a look at that in just a second. But first, I just want to say, we recently hit 100,000 subscribers on the channel here, and I'm super thankful. And as a token of my appreciation to all of you guys, I've put together a giveaway for all of you. So please go check that giveaway out. I'll have it linked down in the pinned comment of this video. I hope all of you get a chance to enter into this giveaway, because it's kind of my way of, giving back to you guys a little bit. So go check that out, please. And thank you for 100K again. Now, let's talk about mining versus buying. Everyone's favorite topic, right? And what I want to talk about here is, obviously, I'm a crypto miner. I love mining. Maybe I'm a little bit biased here, but I think comparing just buying crypto versus mining crypto isn't an apples to apples comparison. And I have two reasons why. Well, actually, I already have a whole video sort of comparing the pros and cons of buying versus mining, which I'll link at the end of this video. But since making that video, I actually have thought of a couple more things where, at least in my mind, mining is always better than buying. And I'll tell you them right now, which is, first of all, when we're talking about mining, if you're doing that at any sort of decently sized capacity, I'm talking if you have, more than like a couple of graphics card, like you should have an LLC set up for your mining operation, or whatever the equivalent would be in your country, right? Because it is just so advantageous in terms of just from a financial perspective and, a tax perspective and everything. And it's kind of also the, appropriate way of running a mining operation, no matter the size really. And why I'm bringing that up is because, well, that means any hardware you buy, any power you use to, run those miners, you can expense, right? Like you can write that off, you can depreciate the value of it. However, when buying crypto, you're gonna have to use your already taxed income when buying that crypto. So it's really not an apples to apple comparison saying should I buy $1,000 miner or should I buy $1,000 worth of crypto? Because if you're buying $1,000 miner, well, you can do that kind of inside of your LLC. But if you're wanting to buy crypto with that same money, you gotta pay that money out to yourself, and then the tax man will get his cut, and whatever tax bracket you're in, and tax rules in your country, you might end up with 20% less, 50% less money before you can actually buy the crypto with that money. So comparing buying $1,000 miner to buying $1,000 worth of crypto, not apples to apples in, you know, reality for most people. It would be more like buying a $1,000 miner versus buying, you know, maybe $600 worth of crypto. But that aside, the other reason why I always prefer mining over buying is, guess what? Even if buying gets you more crypto, that crypto does nothing for you unless the coin price actually goes up. You can have all the crypto in the world, but if the coin price doesn't go up, you've made zero profit. However, with mining, if you buy a miner that is profitable, that crypto miner will make money for you even if the coin price stays the same, even if the coin price goes down, which if you bought the crypto, that's you losing money. With the miner, you might still be actually making money every day, even if the coin price goes down, because there might be a big, you know, sort of gap between, you know, the power price of you running the miner versus, you know, how much you're actually making in terms of revenue. So even if that gap shrinks a bit, you're still making some profit there. Plus, if you're getting, you know, semi-new hardware for mining, other people, if the coin price goes down, might have to shut their miners off before you, lowering the network hash rate, which means that profitability actually, again, goes back up for you. So the coin price going down when you're mining might not be a big issue. You might still be earning money with your miner. However, price going down when you've bought the crypto, you're losing money instantly. So that is why, you know, I'm obviously biased. I love mining. I have a whole mining channel. I think mining is awesome. And in my mind, those are just another 2 reasons for why mining is so much better than buying. You might have a different opinion, and that's okay. We can have different opinions. But let's look at the actual numbers, shall we? So buying the crypto, what I'm doing here is I'm taking the cost of the miner, you know, when I got it, which was $3,800. I'm looking at what was the coin price for Dogecoin and Litecoin on that day, and also just splitting it 50-50 into Doge and Litecoin. That's the first thing I'm doing. Then I am also looking at how much am I spending in power running this miner every single day, and I'm looking at every single day how much, you know, Dogecoin and Litecoin would that buy me if I split it 50-50. So it's like I'm buying a lump sum of, you know, Dogecoin and Litecoin at the beginning, on the same date as I received the miner, and then also dollar cost averaging using the power cost of the miner every single day into buying the coin, right? I hope I explained that well. This is the fairest, sort of most apples to apples way I could do this. So let's reveal the numbers here. How much Dogecoin? A little bit less than through mining, 46,179.86 actually. And for Litecoin, that would be way more, 43.19. And that is just because with mining, you're kind of mining way more Doge than you are Litecoin. That's just how it works. If you split the, you know, money 50-50, you get more Litecoin than you would from mining. This is just how it works out. Now, let's look at what's more interesting here, which is the actual value of this. So the Dogecoin, as of today's price, would be worth $6,974.68. So, of course, it's a little bit less Doge. It's worth a little bit less than, you know, the equivalent of mining. But of course, the Litecoin worth more than the Litecoin from mining, for a total of $10,651.50. Sorry. So the money spent, that's very simple because the total is the same as the total we spent through mining, because that was the whole idea. Spend the exact same money on, you know, the miner plus electricity as buying the coin. What's more profitable, right? So taking that into account, then, you know, we spent $7,337 through buying the coin instead of buying a miner and mining it. What's our final profit? Well, let's have a look, shall we? Let's reveal the numbers here, and we can see Litecoin, basically we've almost made no money, because guess what? Litecoin hasn't really gone up in price very much. And this is displaying beautifully my point that I made, you know, a few minutes ago, which is when buying the coin, you don't make any money unless the coin price actually goes up. But with mining, you can see here, even though I've mined way less Litecoin than I got from buying, I still made $1,200 or over, but with buying, only made $8. So yeah, I like mining. So let me just fix the borders here. There we go. Now, what does this tell us? Well, as you can see here, buying the coin, yeah, would have been more profitable than just if I bought the miners and sold my mining yield every single day. But my question is, why would you compare those two strategies, right? Like, if you're buying the coin, you're obviously buying the coin because you believe the coin price is going to go up. So if it's between, you know, buying and holding, then in my mind, the only, you know, reasonable thing to compare that to would be mining and holding. You either, you know, you buy and hold because you think the price is going to go up, or you buy mining gear and mine and hold those mined coins because you believe the coin price is going to go up. And as you can see there, even then, you know, holding, mining works out better than buying and holding. Now, you might have noticed that I'm talking a little bit hypothetically in this video, and that is just because this isn't how I have actually been mining with my L7. I've done all kinds of crazy things with this. You have seen some of it on the channel. But for example, I've used, you know, a good amount of time with this thing actually mining through Unmineable into 𝗧𝗧. So I got some of that. I have mined for some times during the low power mode and sometimes during the high hash rate mode. So, you know, it would be extremely hard to actually put everything together into a sheet here from, you know, the perspective of what I have actually been doing with this miner. However, if you would have just bought it at the time that I got it and just mined straight Doge and Litecoin, these are the true numbers that you would have ended up with. These are not, you know, me doing averages or doing anything like that. I'm getting real data from the blockchain. This is what you would have ended up with. So let's end this video by talking a little bit about, you know, okay, so should you get an L7 now? Is that a good idea? I don't know, man. Like, it's really tough. Honestly, it's tough because sure, you have the L7i. It's available. It's definitely more expensive than when I got it. But of course, now you also have the just released like AlphaPex GG1 Plus, which is significantly more efficient than the L7. Well, actually not significantly. It's like 50% more efficient. But, you know, basically double the price. So are you willing to pay double to get 50% extra hash rate for roughly the same amount of wattage? Of course, we also have the Bitmain L9 that's supposed to come out next month. So you gotta take that into account too. Do you think, you know, this kind of slight spec bump on this new generation is going to, first of all, be worth it for you in terms of you would rather get those miners as opposed to the, you know, current gen L7? Of course, or not at all if you're not in the market for a Scrypt miner, which Scrypt is the algorithm that these miners are mining. You know, if you are gonna buy one, should you get the L7 or should you get the current gen? And it's really, you gotta make your own judgment call there on, do you wanna pay the premium to get this spec bump in terms of a bit more extra hash rate for roughly 50% extra hash rate for basically double the price? Or do you think, you know, the L7 is profitable enough as it is? Sure, when the new miners come on, that might see, you know, the net hash grow a little bit to the point where the L7 gets a little less profitable, but it's not completely gonna knock them off the network. That's up to you to decide, I guess, what your prediction would be. Anyway, guys, next, I would really recommend you watch this video where I talk about how you and anyone can set up ASIC miners, full-size ASIC miners at home, you know, without any issues in terms of noise, heat, or power. Or you can watch this video about my 100K giveaway that I'm doing. So I really hope you get the chance to enter into that giveaway. Right, I'll see you in one of those videos. Thanks for watching.